Okay, so we're back with another one. So today what we're doing is a high taper with a tree on the sides, with a number tree on the sides. Alright, so what we want to start off by doing is setting in all of our bald lines, meaning on the both sideburns, right and left side, and on the neck. So that's what we're doing right now, setting in our bald lines. And since this is a high taper, we're not keeping the C cup, we're taking off the C cup on both sides. So yeah. And right after this, what we're gonna do is set the base for our fade. And initially we started setting the base for our fade for our taper, my bad. Initially we started off with number 4, but then halfway through doing the number 4, we realized that we actually want to take it a bit lower. So then we dropped it down to a number 3. So right now, in this part, I'm actually doing a number 4, but then I switched to the number 3 guard because we decided that we wanted to have the base a bit lower. So like right now, I'm already on the number 3 guard. So the base for this taper is a number 3 all around, and then we're gonna fade into a number 3. Alright, so now we're going to start setting in our guidelines, and as usual we all know our first guideline is with the lever all the way open, and we're doing about 1/2 inch thick guidelines. It is a high taper, so it is going a bit higher than usual, but we still don't want overly thick guidelines because then that's just going to look a bit too spread out. So we're going for preferably for 1/2 inch thick guidelines. Alright, so now we're already starting to blend that bald line out. And remember, we start off with the lever halfway, and then we go slowly adjusting. The higher we go, and adjusting again, the lower we go. But we always start off with the lever halfway. And whenever I do my tapers, what I like to do is I go blending out the guidelines as soon as I put them in. So right here I set the guideline and I blend the line out. I'll set the other guideline and I'll blend that one out. So like right after this, what we're going to take is our number 1 guard close, and that's going to be used to set our second guideline, and then we're going to take that line right out and immediately take it out. See, so I have my number 1 guard and I have the lever fully closed, and we're setting in our second guideline, and right after this we're going to come back and erase that line right in between what we did with the lever open and this guideline. And as you can see, we're starting to take out that line. And we're doing that with our half guard. And what I did here is I started off with the half guard with the lever halfway, and just like when we take out the bald line, The higher we go, the more we adjust, the lower we go, the more we adjust, but I started off with the lever halfway with this half guard. Now I have the half guard fully closed and we're just doing some corner work, some touch up just to fully blend out that line. And sometimes that line will not come out completely, so what we want to do is just come back with our lever open and do some corner work and just touch it up to fully take out that line. Now it's our third guide line, and we're doing the third guide line with the 1.5 guard, and we're starting off with the 1.5 guard with the lever fully open, and then I believe we're gonna, see, we close the lever and then we go right under what we did with the 1.5 open. And then what I believe we're gonna do is I'm gonna come back with the number 1 guard and have the lever fully open, just to touch up in between that line in between the 1.5 and the 1 guard closed. And after that, since we know that the base of our taper is a number 3, we're just gonna take the number 2 guard, switch between fully open and fully closed lever, just to blend in that 1.5 into the number 3 base of the taper. Like I said, now we're on the number 2, just blending into that number 3 base. Remember guys, all these steps are going to be repeated throughout the back taper and the right side. Right after this, we're going to start off with the back taper. But remember guys, these steps need to be repeated on the other side as well. Right now we're just about finishing with that number 2 guard. Remember to brush off hair from your client, keep them clean. And you can see we're jumping straight into the back taper, and similarly to the side taper, we're going to start off with our lever fully open. That's our first guideline. Then we're going to immediately take out that line between the lever fully open and the bald line. And remember, we start off with the lever halfway whenever we're taking out that line, and then adjust the higher we go and adjust the lower we go. And I do want to say there was a part of the footage for the back taper that was lost. I'm not sure how, but I managed to, I must have deleted the footage. There was a part of it that was lost, and it's not it wasn't too much that was lost. It was just the final step for the back taper. So when we reach to that point, then I'll explain what needed to be done there. But yeah, I lost the footage. So as you can see, we're almost done fully blending out that line between the lever open and the bald line. And then right after that, we're going to jump into the number 1 guard, lever fully closed, and do our second guideline. It's very doing your back taper and doing your side taper is very similar. it's you're gonna use basically all the same steps, just that in the back you have more space to play with, so you can spread out your guidelines a bit more, make your blend a bit more spread out in the back because you have a lot more space to play with. See, so now we have our number one guard lever fully closed and setting in that second guideline, and just like this, the side taper, we're gonna immediately take out that line between the lever open and this number one guard fully closed. Now we're bringing in that half guard to blend out that line, just like the side. We're starting off with our lever halfway and adjusting as we go. Remember guys, whenever we're taking out a line, blending out a line, you gotta remember that we always need to flick out and try to use our corners, because by using our corners we're able to be a bit more detailed than using the entire blade. And the most important thing is to remember to flick out whenever blending out a line. Alright, now we're doing our third guideline, and again with the 1.5 guard, starting with the 1.5 guard fully open, and then we're going to close it and come right under what we did with the 1.5 guard fully open. And we know that this 1.5 guard always leaves a really faint line in between that 1.5 and the number 1. So what we always do is come back with the number 1 guard, but the lever fully open, just touch up in between the 1.5 guard and the number 1 guard, and that should fully blend out that line. And that's what we're doing right now. See, we have the number 1 guard and the lever fully open, just touching up in between that 1.5 and the number 1. And this is where we get to the part where footage was lost. Above that number 1, and again we know that we have a number 3 base, so above that 1.5, we are supposed to take our number 2 guard and just blend right into that number 3 base that we have. And that was the part of the footage that was lost. And then we finish with the back taper and the other side, with the other side taper. We're going to start doing our line up. We're edging up the nape area right now. And we're starting off by doing a rough draft with our trimmers, and then we're going to come back with the straight razor and finalize it. Remember, keep singing it, keep saying it every video. Remember to keep your clients' hairline and shape up and line up a bit more on the natural side, because like I've said before, it gives a much more neater growing back process. It grows back a lot nicer than when you would push back someone and then there's a lot of hair growing back and it doesn't look that good. And now we're gonna put the straight razor on him to finalize that nape line up. Now remember guys, we're not gonna line up around the C-cup area because it is a high taper, so that all the hair there, it was taken off. so we're not going to line up around the C cup area. Now we're doing the other side of the nape line up. Same thing, starting off with our trimmers and then coming back with the razor. And you always want to make sure that your line ups for your tapers are very clean, very precise, because the line up is what makes your tapers pop. So as you can see right now, after the straight razor, when I show the both sides of the line up after the straight razor, it makes the taper pop and look a lot more blurry than it does without the line up. So the line ups for tapers are very important because that's what makes your tapers look good. So now what we're doing is taking our blending shears and just use it to soften up that ridge, just to make it nicer, and more nice, and a more smooth transition into the top. After this, what we're going to do is style his hair. We're going to put some paste or some clay in there, bring out the texture, the waves in his hair. Right, so that's the end. Look at the before, and now the after. Looking real clean.